In 1845, 129 men sailed into the Canadian Arctic aboard two of the most advanced ships ever built. They had food for 3 years, technology no expedition had ever carried before, and total confidence that they would succeed where dozens of others had failed. Not one of them made it home. What happened to those men, pieced together over more than 170 years of searching, is one of the most disturbing survival stories ever recorded. This is the story of the Franklin expedition. By the mid-1800s, the world had almost run out of blank space on the map. One prize remained, the Northwest Passage, a sea route through the frozen top of Canada that would connect the Atlantic to the Pacific. Finding it meant faster trade, and more importantly, glory. The British Admiralty had tried and failed before, but in 1845 they were ready to try again, and this time they were certain nothing could stop them. Command went to Sir John Franklin, a 59-year-old officer on his third attempt at the passage. His last expedition had ended so badly that half his men died, and the survivors were reduced to eating leather and moss to survive. He returned home known, cruelly, as the man who ate his boots. In spite of that failure, Franklin was well-liked, gentle with his crew, and desperate for one final chance to redeem himself. His two ships, the Erebus and the Terror, were as close to unsinkable as Victorian engineering could manage. Their hulls were reinforced with iron. They carried steam engines converted from railway locomotives, retractable propellers, desalination systems, and central heating. They packed nearly 8,000 kilograms of tobacco and liquor, a library of 12,000 books, and something no expedition had relied on before, over 16,000 tins of preserved food. On paper, it was the safest, best-supplied Arctic voyage in history. They were also carrying a hidden killer. The cans had been produced by the lowest bidder in a rushed government contract. Investigators who later examined recovered tins found lead solder dripping down the inside like melted wax, and many cans hadn't even been sealed or cooked properly. The crew ate from these cans for years without knowing they were slowly poisoning themselves. Modern forensic testing on the bodies of crew members has confirmed dangerously high lead levels, made even worse by the ship's water systems, which likely leached lead from their piping directly into the crew's drinking water. The expedition sailed in July 1845 and was spotted one final time by two whaling ships waiting for a break in the ice. After that, the Erebus and Terror simply disappeared. For over a year, nothing was heard. The ships wintered at Beechey Island, where 3 crewmen died and were buried, likely the first casualties of the lead slowly building in their bodies. In 1846, Franklin made a fateful decision, choosing to sail down the western side of King William Island rather than the east. It seemed the safer, faster route. Instead, it funneled the ships directly into some of the densest, most unforgiving pack ice in the entire Arctic. By September, both ships were frozen solid, and they would never sail freely again. In the spring of 1847, a small party trekked ashore and left a note in a stone cairn confirming the crew's location and adding just 2 words about their condition: all well. It would be the last hopeful message anyone from the expedition ever left. That summer, the ice never melted. Ice core samples have since confirmed 1845 to 1859 was among the coldest 50-year stretches the Arctic had seen in over 1,000 years. Trapped for a second consecutive winter, the crew's situation turned desperate. On June 11, 1847, Franklin himself died, his men now battling scurvy, starvation, and lead poisoning all at once, with no plant life for hundreds of miles and even the local wildlife carrying a deadly cold-resistant strain of botulism. By April 1848, with supplies nearly gone, the 105 remaining survivors made a last, brutal decision. They abandoned the ships and set out on foot, dragging massive lifeboats loaded with supplies across 240 kilometers of jagged limestone and ice toward the nearest river system, hoping to reach a trading post hundreds of kilometers away. Weakened by years of malnutrition and poisoning, many didn't survive the first few days. Bodies were later found scattered across more than a dozen separate camps, some men breaking off from the main group entirely, others turning back toward the ships in a final, futile search for shelter. For decades, Inuit hunters told searchers what they had seen. Starving white men pulling boats, a ship's stove still burning inside an abandoned vessel, and grim evidence of cannibalism at multiple campsites. At the time, British society, including Franklin's own widow and her friend Charles Dickens, refused to believe it, dismissing the accounts as savage fabrication. It would take until 1993 for archaeologists to confirm the Inuit had been telling the truth all along. Cut marks on recovered bones showed deliberate attempts to strip flesh from hands, feet, and skulls, and some of the largest bones had been drilled open to extract the marrow inside, a sign of just how far starvation had pushed the last survivors. Search efforts eventually involved more than a dozen ships and cost more lives among the rescuers than anyone expected, with several rescue vessels becoming trapped in the same ice that doomed Franklin's men. It wasn't until 1859 that a written record was finally recovered, and not until 2014 and 2016, over 165 years later, that the wrecks of the Erebus and Terror were finally located, remarkably intact, almost exactly where Inuit oral history had always said they would be. Even now, the majority of the crew have never been found. Somewhere beneath the ice and gravel of the Canadian Arctic, most of the 129 men who sailed with total confidence in 1845 remain exactly where they fell, and archaeologists continue searching for answers to this day.